Good morning mga kapatid. Andito ako ngayon sa Pennsylvania. Dito sa Harrisburg. Yeah. Papasyal kami sa AMISH Village. That's AMISH Village. Yeah. Titingnan namin ang way of life ng AMISH people. How they survive without electricity, without phone, at saka yung way of farming nila, making the primitive ways of surviving. That's the Amish village. We're entering now Amish village. It's 1 o'clock now here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Yeah. Welcome to Amish Village.
Uy, 1:30 mga gabi kita. Let's go.
Ate, may bibilin lang ako. Baka di ko matubay.
A lot of souvenirs. Ha? Ha? Oh, sorry. Yan, ganyan sila. Nagsasampay din ng mga damit. Wala silang mga electric dito, iron, plancha. Yan. The spring house. German barn. German barn. Oh, ganito. Ang lalaki ng... Wow, grabe. Tingnan mo yung kabayo nila. Ang lalaki. The Amish Lancaster Village. Amish Lancaster Village. Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Mr. Edie is suffering from an allergy and is under veterinary care. Oh, andito na ang kambing. Ano ito? This must be sa anin, ha? Sa anin goat. Oh, this is the duck. And then this one, nothing in here. Oh, look at this. Oh, another duck. Oh, this is not a... Oh, there's also... What do you call this? That's the turkey. Ganito sila mag-farm.
Papa, there's this here.
Wow. Ah, what? So cute horse, huh? Oh my goodness. What's that? Peppercorn and nutmeg. Oh, the miniature horse. Oh, the feeds. You get 25 cents. Put 25 cents to get the feeds. Ah, the donkeys, the mules.
It's a pig. It's a pig.
Ah, these are the donkeys. Oh, so friendly, huh? Very friendly. Yeah, you can touch them, yeah? They won't hurt you. Oh, what's this?
A pig.
Oh, the pot-belly pig. Oh,
Oh my.
look at that. The pot-belly pig.
Oink, oink.
Pot-belly pig.
It has like that cute little nose. Okay. It says pig.
Oh, wow.
Like his name.
They must be asking for food.
Donkey?
Oh, this is the tobacco, how they dry the tobacco. Look at that.
Yo, but the donkey is
Ah.
What's that?
That's the tobacco leaves. And then they will use it to smoke. They will wrap it in a paper.
Cigarettes.
And then that's their cigarette. They don't buy. That's how they survive. No electric,
No.
no phones. They are using firewood to warm them up. The Connecticut broadleaf tobacco. The Pennsylvania type tobacco. And this one is sage. Oh, miniature horse. Sage miniature horse. Oh, they have chickens too. They have chickens.
Oh, there's another pig.
Josiah.
Oh, be careful! I'm young. I may bite. Freeze, miniature horse.
It might bite.
Yeah, it might bite. So be careful. Yeah, just be careful to touch. Yeah, that's the Amish residence, their house. They have the Amish village, I think. That's the Amish village. This is the direction.
Big German heritage. I'm part of that. But the reason I bring this up, us Germans share superstitions with the Amish that live here. Okay? So I'll just bring up a couple of them on our tour. Now, Amish here, the bishop controls one Amish school. His district is 1 mile around that school. There are over 250 schools. That means there's 250 districts, 250 bishops. And that's his little kingdom. And I mean that when I say that. He makes the rules up for his individual church. Everybody's different. So basically since the 70s, let's get it out of the way, Amish are no different than anybody else on the face of the earth. Money has a way of changing people. So tourism has changed the Amish. In this area, up to the tourist area, roughly 5 miles away, the bishop's very liberal today. Shutters on windows, even some mostly single family homes, but even a few farms to your left. Not in the outskirts, because bishops out there consider them decorations. A whole array of solar panels on roofs to your left. They charge a battery in their basement. The Amish run that through the wires in their homes today, DC electric. A lot of window fans and AC units are allowed in windows to your left. Not in the outskirts unless you have the business. If you run the business, you can run the solar panels, charge the battery to run a cash register, fans, AC units, and things like that in your business, but not in your home yet. Okay? Now, technology. What's on the farm here is from 1970 back into history. My dad grew up on a farm in 1931. That's when he was born. He didn't have running water. He didn't have electric, right? That's way out in the country. Well, neither did the Amish until the 60s. They didn't have running water in their homes, so no toilet until the 60s.
Wow.
Okay? I call this the Amish Renaissance. Okay? This is my own little term that I use. Okay? Down there to your right, that square little white building that says Spring House. Back in the day, you'd walk your land after you purchased it, and you'd find water coming out of the ground. It's 52 degrees, that water, every day of the year. So you build that little house over it, you're constantly adding ice blocks. That's a refrigerator for your milk cans and produce. Same refrigeration in the house as my dad, big wood boxes with ice blocks. Refrigeration changed in the 70s for the Amish. Okay? So that's some of the things we're going to be talking about. Education for the kids, some philosophical things, some superstitious, fire departments. Once we hit our stop, then we're going to start with church, youth group, Rumspringa, things like that. So I'm going to hop windows back, or windows with red handles, doors front and back, emergency exits.
Bueno, él dice que hay una tecnología que se ha introducido en los últimos años, pero al principio, cuando recibe el año, él habla de que su papá nació en pero que dentro de la...
A few terms that I'll be using. Anabaptist. When I say use that word Anabaptist, I'm referring to Amish, Mennonites, and Quakers. There's no Quakers here anymore. However, it's the Anabaptists that are fleeing Germany and Switzerland. They are being persecuted at the time by the Catholic Church, which was the government. Well, they had pretty many reasons, but one of the bigger ones would have been over baptisms. Catholics baptized at infancy. The word Anabaptist means, hold on a second. Nope, there's too many. But the word Anabaptist means a rebaptizer. It is an adult. Folks, is there three going on the 130 tour? Okay, all right, thank you. The word means rebaptizer. Basically, it's an adult consideration or conscious decision to be baptized for the Amish. But when the Amish get baptized, they're baptized to join the church. That's where their allegiance lies, with the church. Now, when the Anabaptists are arriving, we have sister cities, Lancaster and our sister city, York. We're the red rose, they're the white rose, just like in England. And when the Anabaptists are arriving, almost everybody here was British. So even in 2024, Amish consider anybody not Amish English. You're all English on this bus today. Got it? Why? Because you're not Amish. It's that simple. I'm English. Well, I am English, but but it's that's why. So in the 60s, when I was born, 90% of the Amish in 1960 lived on a farm, and Amish farms are multi-generational. They are handed down inside the family. Well, it's 2024. We are nowhere close to 90%. It's 30% that farm today. So 7% live in a single-family home. Something major must have happened. Yeah, farmland ran out, and Amish got into construction around 1990. So it's either retired couples or relatively young men with families that work for Amish-owned construction companies. So, first superstition right off the bat, the stars on that barn to your left. German immigrants arriving here right after the Anabaptists, well, maybe, a few decades later, started this superstition. Good luck, good fortune, good prosperity, maybe a good harvest. The color of the star has the meaning. There's some Texas beef right there to your left. Those are Texas Longhorns. Now, the farms on this road are Amish farms. All but one are a dairy farm. The guy coming up on your right, he sold his cows about 12 weeks ago. And this has been a trend in the last 5 years because they've been losing money in the dairy business. Probably 20 years or more. So they're starting to sell their dairy cows. No sense milking cows. Now, that tractor down there is not the Amish farmers. That's somebody he's either hired to come in and help him, like move pumpkins. All these pumpkins, they were boxed up and shipped over to an auction house about 6 miles away. They probably used that tractor. An Amish farmer can have steel wheel or solid rubber tires. A single-family Amish homeowner may have inflatable rubber tires on his tractor. So those are what's left of the pumpkins, as you can see. They're selling a couple there for cash, but a lot of this produce that they do grow is shipped over to that auction house. In fact, that's where I'm taking you, that's where they get their produce to sell, at that auction house. Next farmer, he's also growing produce. Now, you'll see they like to lay out long rows of plastic. Depending on how many holes they have to pop, like for onions, they use a roller that pops like thousands of holes. But when you plant a plant in each of the holes that's popped. In between the rows, that's where this longer grass is coming up. But that's the water, when it rains, sinks in and goes underneath the plastic to water the plants. So in between the rows here, you'll see the plastic laid out. There it is. And the holes popped in it. Now, water wheels and windmills were used to pump water back in the day. Windmills pumped it into that green tank or the silver white one in front of the next barn. Then that water delivered via pipe by gravity, sticking outside the house or barn. Now, you may or may not know, Amish have church at their homes. And if you're a single-family homeowner, your house is not built for 20, 30 families to come out throughout the year for church. So farmers and single-family homeowners, if they have the money and room, build the building in front of you on the right. It's called a carriage house. The ground floor is where you keep your ponies and buggy horses. The little room top left has the garage door. That's his storage area for the food and bedding for the animals down below. You lift things in and out with a forklift out of that garage door. The big room top right, that is his workshop. That's where they have church in that building when it's their turn. The big room top right, it doubles as a workshop and their church area. Almost all Amish families, they have trampoline swing sets. Almost all Amish properties, grapevines and gardens. Driveway to your left, that box right up the fence there. It looks like the door's actually open. Well, that's a landline phone booth. Amish farmers and business owners are allowed to have phones. And there's exceptions to every rule the bishop makes. So, if that phone and that farm wasn't there, these two single-family homeowners might be able to share a phone between the two of them. But because that farm and phone is right there, they can walk over and share that phone. They're not allowed to have a phone. The phone arrived by the end of the 60s. It cannot be in your house. It cannot be in your barn. It must be its own separate structure and convenient to get to. There's the dairy herd on your left. Again, just tiny dairy herds. 30 to 50 cows is all Amish have. Now, the next farm on your left has a business. Businesses have their own rules. The gray building's a fabric store. Solar panels on the business or on the roof, charging the battery to run her cash register. Maybe fans in the summertime. This guy's fertilizing his field right now. He's using the chickens to fertilize. As you can see, he's moved it the whole way up here, and now he's moved it over there. He's going to go right down the road, and he's going to keep doing this. So the business phone that she has, her husband is not allowed to use it. He must walk the whole way from the barn down to the end of the driveway to the landline phone booth. At the landline phone booth, this is when these boxes started appearing along driveways, way out in pastures. The toilet makes it into the house during the Renaissance. The outhouse comes from behind the barn to the front of the farm, and the Amish stuck the phone in the old outhouse. A lot of these are the original outhouses. Many of them are. So all the big tall cylinders you see with the aluminum domes at these farms, they're called silos, and they're filled up with corn silage. This process pretty much ended about 4 or 5 weeks ago. Some guys might still be doing it, but only a few. That's for cows, goats, things like that. On top of the hill to your left is the windmill. That is what used to pump water. But almost every one of these had disappeared by 1990. Around 2005 to 2010, brand new ones or the old ones were put back up because now solar and generating electricity with wind power became a thing for the Amish. So they charge batteries with the windmill today. Buggies have batteries, machines have batteries, cordless tool batteries, some scooters have batteries. Like maybe a physically handicapped Amish person, a little go-go scooter the older you get. There's no windmills past that hill 4 miles away. There were no Amish below that hill till probably 1950. That's just migration time. Now, to your right is south. It's mostly 1 or 2 generations. Well, it's 1 or 2 generations on the farms. That's also just migration time. There's an Amishman's tractor to your left. Notice the steel wheels on it. Solid front tires, solid rubber front tires, but the back are steel wheels. The gray roof's right there. The center section, the first floor, That was renovated around 1970. That contained small rooms. Well, they tore out the walls between the kitchen, living room, and maybe the dining room. Put in poles. It's opened up into one large room today. That's where most of the farmers still have their worship service. Either there, or in their own carriage house, or in their barn. Now, the two big sections closest to the barn, that's the furthest away. You can walk from one end of that house to the other inside. Laundry rooms, laundry lines, both ends, they have their own gardens. There's your two generations. Now, when he hands the farm over to his son, he will separate the house. They don't keep building onto it anymore. All three homes on your left, these are relatively young men with families that work for different construction companies. The company in which they work sends a crew truck to pick them up every weekday morning, takes them to the job site, brings them home late afternoon or early evening, right back to their house. It's like having a chauffeur-driven limo to get to work every day. Now, rotating crops. It's necessary to change the crops in your fields. Amish switch every 2 years. English farmers every 4. English use more chemicals on their fields than Amish do. But it does not mean Amish don't use chemicals. They do, just not as much. That'll come to fruition next summer, like around towards the end of June. Well, when you plant them and the grain, it comes to the top when it's ready. That's your harvest. But the stem is golden brown. That's called straw. That's collected and baled up. That's bedding for food. Bedding for like horses, ponies, mules, not cows. Now the grass here on your right is called alfalfa. You cut that, they grow that throughout the summer to make hay. Hay is food for animals. So grass makes food, hay. Grains make bedding, straw. Now those fields that were harvested, that's an English harvester right there. Those fields that were harvested, and by the end of June, that was soybean. 2 money crops out of one field in one growing season is win-win for every farmer. Amish do the exact same thing as English, just smaller scale. An Amish guy will hire an English combine to come in and process mostly their grains and their soybean. The Amish guys, they do everything else basically. They just don't have the machines to do soybean yet. They can do their own grains, but that's a big process. See, all that fresh grass has just been cut. Now, farm in front of us was handed over 4 years ago. The boy that got the farm, it used to be the youngest. It's not anymore. It could be any boy, because a lot of boys don't want to farm; they want to do construction. So the boy that didn't get the farm, he got married. The wife moved in with him and his parents. Well, they start having babies. The oldest one being about 8 to 10. It's a good time to hand the farm down to the boy. So the grandparents section right between the 2 trees, front right. It's called a dowdy house. D-A-W-D-Y. That's a term that grandchildren use for their Amish grandparents. There's soybean that needs to be harvested right there on your right. Carriage house right in front of you has the solar panels on it. Farmer at his driveway coming up, he has 3 peach trees and then a couple different types of apple trees. Almost all fruit trees are done at this point. This white greenhouse here, that has his tobacco in it. He has tobacco hanging in every barn shed and greenhouse that he has. Other farmer, he might start his tobacco in there, but other farmers have greenhouses for flowers, hothouse tomatoes, things like that. Now, we have our first one-room Amish schoolhouse coming up on the left. Above Route 23, roughly 5 or 6 miles away, we have this type of Mennonites called Old Order Mennonites. Like the Amish. While the Old Order Mennonites still use buggies like the Amish here, they are the most conservative Mennonites in the United States. They used to live in this area, but there are Amish farms amongst those Mennonite farms up there. Both of those Old Order kids, some of them go to the same schools. Down here, it's only Amish kids the whole way to Maryland and Delaware, 35, 40 miles away. Bishops will not allow any married women to teach in an Amish school down here. They're teenage girls with an 8th grade education that come out of the same school. Depending on the number of kids in the school, 1 or 2 teachers, 1 to 3 helpers. They start out 16, 17, learning and helping to teach. 19 to 21 are the teachers. She gets engaged, her career as a teacher's over. A helper becomes the teacher. 1 bell, 1 water well, 1 propane tank, 1 backstop for softball. A stone area, teeter-totter swing set, 2 outhouses. You throw in a sliding board or a second backstop for softball, you have every other 1 or 2 room Amish schoolhouses in the county. First grade to 8th grade, 6 to 14 years of age. Reading, writing, arithmetic, a little bit of history and geography. No science or sex ed. These kids, they're busy learning to read, write, and speak English also. Now, even in my lifetime, they learned a high German dialect. Not anymore. They don't use that German in church anymore. They use Pennsylvania Dutch or English. Well, what is Pennsylvania Dutch? Amish, they're either from southern Germany, like those here, or Switzerland. So it's Swiss and a southern German dialect smashed together. What the Amish use is spoken only. That's the language, spoken only, not written. So the kids, younger kids, adults today, they write in English. The older folks, they write in either English or German. So we have a couple English homes left and right, then a couple Amish homes, then some more, we all live side by side here. Recess, 11 and 1 o'clock. Amish, first grade, well, if the grass is dry, it's softball. Everybody plays, boys, girls, teachers, and helpers. If the grass is wet, stone area is utilized. A game of tag to be played. Lunchtime, kids sit in same-sex circles. Boys there, girls over there. They learn this circle setting from their parents. When Amish congregate, they sit in same-sex circles because they're very patriarchal. Amish men and women have their own conversations in circles. But when you're in a circle, you are facing everybody in the circle. Your back is turned to nobody. There's an Amish store coming up here on the right. So, big philosophy. Well, the one you're going to hear 4 times, probably or more maybe in this tour, it's taking care of one another from womb to tomb or cradle to grave. Even with the kids in school, rather simply, older kids help younger kids with their studies. Amish children do the same number of days in a year in school as the English kids, but they're done at least 2 weeks before. Amish kids don't get federal holidays, so they're done a lot sooner. Amish kids get off for Amish weddings, which are on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and they started Tuesday. So they also get off for Christian holidays. The last day of the school year is your 8th grade graduation. All the parents come in with younger siblings and picnic lunches. They have the ceremony in the morning, then they separate into same-sex circles and eat their picnic lunches. Then the fathers will play the older school kids softball the rest of the day. Whether in the schoolyard or in the pasture next door, the younger kids, they're with the teachers and helpers. They're playing their own game, either next door in the pasture, in the same schoolyard. The moms, they sit with the real little ones in circles under shade trees, and then things wrap up between 4:30 and 5. Because it's time to go home for some families and start milking cows for the second time in one day. 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. cows are milked. Now, this brick meeting house, Quakers and a couple conservative Mennonite groups call Church Meeting House. Again, there's no Quakers, but this is a former Old Order. A buggy Mennonite. Their buggies are black on black, not gray and black like Amish. Mennonites have more polished aluminum on the horse's harness and diamond-plate aluminum on many of their buggies, especially if it has a pickup bed in the back. Amish wood painted black. Now, Mennonites, 25 years ago, a lot of them were still using kerosene lanterns as headlights. Amish, by...
This is the bus that gave us the tour in Amish village.
Do me a favor, you can take all the pictures of the buildings and while you're on their property, don't take pictures of the Amish themselves. That's
Okay.
something they don't like.
Yeah. Thank you.
But, miss, you can take any pictures of any of the buildings, just don't take them of the Amish folks when you're on their property. Okay?
Not here, right?
All the buildings you can take pictures, not just the Amish. Just don't take pictures of the
Bawal na po natin sila ng kami.
Amo nga ni, bawal.
Saan, ginakuhanan mo na? Bawal na. Ang tao bawal.
That's the duck. Oh, the Amish pickup. That's the Amish pickup. Oh, they're so friendly, huh?
Come on, guys.
You say, don't touch me.
They are, right?
She must be a girl. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Feed animals with open arms. The Amish village. The Amish village in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Ganyan ka-primitive ang buhay nila. Kakasurvive sila kahit walang ilaw, walang kuryente, walang telepono. Dito lang sila nagpa-farming. Ayan mga karetela. Oh, the fainting pygmy. Okay. The fainting pygmy goats. Oh, they like corn. The fainting pygmy goats. Ooh. Chicken food. The chicken coop. Kaway-kaway, Kian. That's Books. That's Kian, Catherine, Christine, and Inday. Taking pictures at the Carretela.